Good morning. This video explains how to navigate through the registration process, and once you are registered, to examine the best ways to get the full benefits of how we can assist you with buying and selling oil properties. This is the home page you will view when first visiting our website. Some tabs are usable without registering, and some, like the prospect and the profile update, are not. Let's go to the Info tab and scroll down to our sales commissions. Here are our sales commission charges. We will reduce these sales commissions by 25% for sellers' first listed prospect. Okay, going back to the top and looking at the menu bar on the home page, the Login Register tab is at the far right. Clicking here will take you to the screen where you can log in if you are already registered. If not, click here to register. Clicking here takes you to the register page. You must first indicate whether you are registering as an individual or as a company representative. You must next choose whether to register as a buyer or a seller, or you may register as both. Let's first choose seller. The red asterisks denote info that is required to submit your registration application. We then need your name, an email address, a password, your phone number, and your address. Your email and password will be needed each time to log in and will be used by us when contacting you with subsequent notifications. You must also agree to our terms and conditions, which can be found here, and you agree to them by clicking here. Okay, now let's scroll back to the top and register as a buyer. Notice that if you are registering as a buyer, we will request additional information related to which state you are licensed to operate in and the specific property types you are most interested in purchasing. Although this additional data is not required, it will improve how the website can assist you in buying and selling oil properties, which we will view a little later in this tutorial. This requested but not required buyer information is used to determine to whom automatically generated emails will be sent when properties are listed for sale that match those property types you have selected. Also, if you attempt to place a bid on an operated working interest prospect in a state in which you are not selected as licensed operator, your bid will be rejected with a message that you are not licensed to operate in that particular state. Making a selection here regarding your property type preferences will ensure you automatically get an email notification that a prospect has been listed that matches your selected property types. Next, we ask for your maximum bid amount. The maximum bid amount will set a limit on the amount you will be allowed to bid on any prospect. We will probably request some financial verification for bid requests exceeding $500,000. Your approved bid amount, however, does not limit which prospects you are able to view. All prospects, no matter their estimated value and your maximum bid amount, will be viewable to all buyers. You can change your maximum bid amount as many times as you want and whenever you want, again using the Update Profile tab. When you have finished entering the required information, click the Submit button at the bottom of the page. This will send your data to a website administrator and at the same time will generate an email to you that your registration has been received. We will then review your application, and once approved, we will send you another email that you can now log in to access and use the website. Whether you register as a buyer or a seller, you will need to read and agree to the Terms and Conditions contract, which sets forth the rules under which your use of the website will be controlled and enforced. Additionally, we will request signed copies of these terms and condition agreements prior to preparing actual property assignments for successfully completed website auctions. Only buyers will receive notices about future property listings, and only buyers will be able to view for sale. using the Buy a Prospect button. Registered sellers will only be able to view their own prospects for sale. Now let's log in and see how to preview prospects and make bids. Be sure to use the back arrow at the top left and not the closed document X at the top right. Since I'm logging in as a client that has registered as both a buyer and a seller, the display screen shows both my prospects for sale and my bids. If this client had any prospects or had placed any bids on prospects, they would show up here. Let's now take a look at some of the actual prospects listed for sale. Just so you get familiar with our terminology, we use prospects in place of lots to describe individual assets being sold on our auctions, and properties to describe the individual leases or wells comprising the prospect. Taking a look here, we see that 3 prospects are listed, and for each prospect, numerous column headings. Notice that one of the column headings is listed as, which denotes if the prospect is being sold as an auction prospect or a sealed bid prospect. Auction prospects often have a reserve bid amount, and all approved bids will be viewable to all buyers, the prospect being sold to the highest bidder if the reserve price has been met. Sealed bids will have no reserve. Bids and bid amounts will be known only to the seller, and the seller may choose the actual buyer regardless of whether they were the high bidder or not. The seller makes the choice of how the prospects will be sold. The bidding on all prospects will terminate at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on the day listed under End Date. All the columns may be sorted alphabetically using the arrows at the top of each column. Another feature we added are the filters located at the upper portion of this page. As an example, if we wanted to view only producing minerals in Kansas, we click on Kansas. And if we want to view only non-producing minerals, we select non-producing minerals. Once we hit the apply filter, only properties show up that are both located in Kansas and contain non-producing minerals. Now, let's go under the action column, click on the view or eyeball icon. We are now able to find much more specific data about the prospect and the individual properties. If we expand the prospect information tab here, we can now access specific documents such as detailed maps, decline curve analysis, cross sections, etc. Clicking here, we can view the actual individual documents that have been placed for view under prospect ID number 1. Notice that the 1 to 10 of 13 entries is displayed here, which is just a reminder that since we only display 10 pieces of data per page, that there's a second page to look at to view other documents. As an example of the data that we present to each buyer, let's take a quick look at this east-west cross section. I need to rotate it to the right to get it oriented correctly, but notice the Rogers number 1 well at the west end of the cross section. By the way, there's also an enclosed map that shows the location of this particular cross section. I put this on here to show that in this Rogers number 1 well, which is located west of the Thies Mineral Estate, this is one of the very few wells that produces out of the Marmaton. It's made over 75,000 barrels out of this particular zone, so it's certainly economic at this depth. Now, if we scroll to the east over to where the actual Thies wells are located, and we scroll down, we'll notice that there are also Marmaton zones in these wells, here and here and here that look interesting. They've got good SP, they've got clean gamma ray, they've got good resistivity, and they certainly should be perforated and tested prior to plugging and banding these wells that now produce out of the deeper Marmaton and Chester zones. This is just an example of data we provide to demonstrate that we do more than just assemble and display data. We carefully analyze it to promote maximum value for our sellers. Okay, going back to the previous prospect display page, and now expand the properties module, we again get more detailed information about each specific property. This is where we can view well logs, completion reports, and an individual well's production curve and projected cash flows. Taking a quick look at the Property 1 documents, we notice that now there's 39 individual documents, discounted cash flows, production plots, samples of the logs, correlated with perforations, just a view for each individual property. Now let's go back 2 pages, and sometimes depending on your browser you'll get this view, but you just have to click one more time to go back to the prospects for sale page. This time let's click on the $ icon, and this is how to actually place a bid on a specific prospect. Usually bids are accepted on the total prospect, but if you wish to place a bid on just a specific property within the prospect, use the notes to seller to indicate which property on which you wish to place your bid. I hope this helped with registering and with viewing prospects for sale. We will soon be releasing another video showing how to post a prospect for sale. Thank you and have a nice day.